In this video, we're gonna drain and fill some of the transmission fluid on my Lexus IS 350. Hello everybody and welcome to Marty Motoring. So my car has almost 170,000 miles on it. I decided that I want to introduce some new transmission fluid into the system. Now with a flush, you're flushing out everything out of the system. So all the old fluid with the clutch residue and debris, and that could get stuck along the way in the transmission. So you don't really want to do a flush. With a drain and fill, you're just draining some of the old fluid and introducing some new fluid into the system so everything can keep running efficiently, smoothly, and keep it lubricated. So the drain and fill that I'm going to do is probably just going to get 2.5 to 3 quarts out of it. That's just kind of what's at the bottom. There is, I think, 6 to 8 quarts in the whole transmission, and that's what you would get out with a flush, but in this case I'm not doing that. So since I don't really know the maintenance history of this transmission, if it was ever flushed, I checked on my Lexus driver's account, and there's a bunch of repairs and emissions, inspection, and everything like that, but there's nothing about a transmission flush. So let's drain this almost 170,000 mile fluid and see what it looks like. So we are in the Hammerdown Motorsports shop today. As you can see, things are still coming along, but Steve allowed me to use his lift today, so shout out to Steve with Hammerdown Motorsports. You can check his channel out. He has a lot of stuff on this awesome Camaro SS supercharged, really good looking car, and he does a lot on that, and here he is.
So basically, Martin's gonna have to put some underglow on this thing next, now that we got the lift to put it on. I just put it on this car, and it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to do that. Comment below, what do you think? Should I put underglow on the Lexus?
Too fast, too furious. I'm too fast for y'all, man.
So we got the very dirty Lexus IS 350 on the lift. As you can see, my F-Sport exhaust axleback is still doing well. A lot of people have asked me about this resonator delete. What I had done was the big one cut out and put this little eBay one. I call it a delete, but really you can just, it's a tube, has a very little baffling. You can just put a straight pipe, and it does give it a little bit louder and raspier of a sound. It's a little more aggressive. So that's my exhaust setup. I don't get under this car too often, so it's always nice to check out how things are going. This is what we're gonna be working with today. Here you have the drain plug and the overfill plug, they call it. So once you're up to temperature, you would drain this and any excess would come out. But this is what we're gonna be draining today. And up here under this cover is the fill plug. So you just need to take that out and kind of put a tube in there to get the new fluid into the system. All right, so we're under the car, and the drain plug is actually gonna take a 14 millimeter. Of course, you can just drain this into anything, especially if you're on the floor. Ooh, that's nasty. So you can see it's pretty dirty. You can see it on the container. It's like a dark brown, and it's coming out of here, and it's pretty bad. So introducing new fluid is probably not a bad idea at this point, just to get it a little more cleaned up. What we'll do is put 2 or 3 quarts in, put that in, and then run it, and then drain this, and whatever, when it stops draining, that means it's at the correct level, heat it up. So once you take this cover off, it'll expose the fill plug here. Pretty dirty in there once I got this off. It's a 24 millimeter. Come on, Martin, you can do it. Oh, I think I got it. Broke it loose. All right, so there is the fill plug. So now we can actually put new fluid in. So of course we'll be using the Toyota automatic transmission fluid, the WS type. That's what these cars call for. I got 4 quarts of this. That should be more than enough for this little drain and fill. And yeah, we're gonna put it in, and then we'll do the overflow and see what drains out, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so once this is done draining and you got your New fluid all ready to go back here. So now all 3 quarts have been added, and we're going to turn the car on, let the transmission get up to operating temperature, and then we can do the overfill plug here and drain out any excess. We didn't measure it exactly, but the overfill plug will do its thing. Alright, so we lowered the car and we're going to use this to check the transmission temperature after letting it run and get up to operating temperature after a few minutes, and then we can use the overfill plug to drain out any excess fluid. So we checked the transmission with it running, about 3 to 4 minutes it should be up to operating temperature. So now we can do the overfill plug and get out any excess fluid. As you can see, that stuff is still dripping out and it's slowing down, so we can put this back in, clean it up. So you can actually do this a bunch of times. You can fill up the transmission, drain the overflow, fill it up, drain the overflow, and get cleaner fluid. I'm just going to do it this once. You could also change the filter and that'll help as well. But this should at least introduce some new fluid into the system and keep it running a little bit smoother and cleaner. So I've tested the car for about 2 days now and no problems to report. Actually, the shifting is much smoother, the downshifts especially. Usually when I downshift, it was pretty rough. This is like super smooth. Oh, it's super smooth compared to what it was before. And if I have it in power mode, it just goes. The paddle shifters seem a little bit more responsive, but that could just be a mental thing with me. With power mode on, if you go to stop, sometimes it's a little jerky downshifting. Now it's nice and smooth. The car's running great, there's no issues. So all in all, this small little maintenance item actually did make a difference. It was definitely worth it, and I'll have links down below in the description for all the tools I used and the fluid and everything so that you can get it too and do this at home. Now you could do this at home with jack stands. You can just crawl under. The lift does make it a lot easier if you have access to one. Big shout out to Steve from Hammerdown Motorsports for lending me the tools, the lift, the whole shop and everything, and his help for the day. That was really helpful. Also, I just want to say recently I did find out how to disable my DRL, my daytime running lights, and also I have a VSC light on the dash. So we're going to take a look at that in another video using Toyota TechStream. I'm going to show you how to do that, so look out for that in the future. I really wanted to get the transmission out of the way before I did anything else, so I have a bunch of cool mods coming up. If you liked this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more Lexus content in the future, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching Marty Motoring, and as always, leave a little rubber on the road.